I'm Catherine Diorio. This week on Check Please, retired sales executive Dave Wiegers says if the charming ambiance doesn't convince you, then the fantastic food, friendly staff, and creative cocktails definitely will at his favorite spot. But Community Affairs Director Marcelino Garcia says if you want sensational sandwiches in a lively, festive atmosphere, you're always in good company at his selection. Up first, Marketing Manager Saiba Arain says she found a spot in Chinatown where the dumplings are delicious and the style is sizzling. She says for a fulfilling experience, follow her to Wentworth and stop in at Xiang Yuan.
Xiang Yuan. Qing means fresh. Xiang means smell good. Yuan is a good place, so we want our customers to come here to enjoy our dumplings. We want you to try the traditional Chinese dumplings. The recipe we had here is about 250 years. My uncle bring it from China here. We have a lot of dumplings, boiled, steamed, or fried. We can do beef, we can do lamb, we can do chicken, pork, and our specialty is seafood. In China, dumpling is kind of a family food. So once you bring your family here, you could enjoy the moment with your father, brother, or sisters. That's what we want to provide to our customers. We also have a good time here.
So Saiba, you say the dumplings are divine at Xiang Yuan. Why'd you choose it?
I call it QXY just because it's a little easier to abbreviate it that way, and it's on their sign like that too.
Thank you so much.
But the quality of the food there is what you go for sure. The dumplings, the fillings, they're unique and flavorful and fresh, and they make them all fresh for you right when you order. Some of my favorites are the beef and onion. It was really good. Yeah, last time I went, I tried the lamb and leek for the first time, and that was delicious. The lamb was super tender and the leeks were really fresh. And then my favorite is the chicken and mushroom. It's less of a soup dumpling. I think most of them are soup dumplings, but it has no soup filling, and it's just the mushrooms are just so super pungent and flavorful. And then they have the vinegar and the soy sauce and the chili sauce that goes with it, and they're just like perfect accompaniments for a really simple dumpling meal.
I love the place.
Okay.
I really like it because I like places that kind of have an open kitchen. And of course you can see that they're making the dumplings.
Yeah, like when you walk back to the
And I
bathroom,
saw how many
you can
dumplings
see
they
it.
were pushing out of that back room. I don't know how long they've been at it.
Yeah,
I think I went in expecting pot stickers.
Right.
And what a revelation.
Right.
Really. I went with wife and my two sons and one of their girlfriends. And we ordered like 6 or 8 different types, you know, and of the 18s. And, you know, my sons are huge. They're monsters. All this food in front of us, and we had lamb skewers, and my son somehow ordered a hot and spicy bowl, and we thought, there's no way are we going to eat all this food. And then it was done, and the only thing that we hadn't eaten was the mushroom salad, and everything was gone. It was really delicious. There was not a dumpling to be had. And I like the lamb and coriander too.
That's one of their most popular.
Yeah, and then my wife and son love the lamb skewers. It's got just a little bit of spice.
Very spicy.
But I could see the draw if you like the spice. The servers were fantastic, and they were really helpful, especially, I'm no spring chicken, and I'm tech savvy, but the old iPad menu.
That was great.
I'm not sure. I'm a paper guy.
So you liked it?
I liked it because
I'm
you
a
didn't
paper
like
guy.
it. Okay.
I'm a paper
well, and
guy.
I could see things that I really was kind of afraid of not trying. I wish I was more adventurous, but I went with 3 colleagues. We 2 of them really didn't like Chinese food from before, so this was a test for them to go into Chinatown and really try something different. So we got 4 orders of dumplings, which were pretty big. We got kimchi, Chinese kimchi, which none of them have ever had. Oh, it was excellent.
It's the best kimchi I've ever had, I think.
The skewers were great. We got bread, but yeah, everything was wiped out.
Wow.
We had a great time.
12, because they come, obviously the dumplings, you can order them in a minimum of 12 dumplings per order.
We got the 12 dumplings, yeah.
which I was kind of bummed
Yeah.
because, you know, you want to sometimes try a bunch of them, and there's over
Yeah.
almost 40 varieties
Yeah.
of dumplings, so you
Yeah.
really have to roll in with an entourage to try them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think too, because they're not a traditional soup dumpling, so they're kind of a traditional dumpling and kind of a soup dumpling
Right.
hybrid.
Yeah.
You know, but you're supposed to kind of wait a few minutes so it cools a little bit. The last thing you want is to
Burn your teeth. Yeah. Even if you know going in, it's like you bite into it, and I always burn my tongue, but it's like,
But
it's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
And you know what?
exactly.
I think that's why we all prefer the fried ones as opposed to the steamed or boiled
Right.
ones, because we prefer them a little bit drier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time that we bit into one of the boiled or steamed ones, it was too watery for us.
So is
Sure.
this like a date place, cozy, intimate?
I think it depends on when you go, actually,
Okay.
because it gets loud in there, though. People bring their kids, and their TVs with different programs, like Chinese programs on. So it's loud. I wouldn't go on a first date there, but I would go definitely with family, people that you're comfortable with, people that you don't mind like sharing food with either, because you have to share
Right.
everything.
I think you can go there with friends and family. Just make it an outing. You can take the red line down to Chinatown, walk around, make it a shopping experience, and really Chinese-centric type of adventure in the city. We went during work hours, so no drinking. It's like, otherwise I would be in trouble. But no, I think next time I go, I would go with, try to find some Tsingtao beer or something like that, something ethnic, to really have beer while having dumplings.
There's a couple liquor
Yeah.
stores real close there, so
Right.
it's not hard to find.
Well, and Dave, I know you took a little excursion for
Yeah,
dessert.
we did.
Because they don't have dessert there.
They
And
don't.
We walked back through the big red
Right.
gate, and about a block and a half in, on the right-hand side, there was a place that had a board outside that had said Thai rolled ice cream.
Right.
And I wish I could remember the name of the place.
Legend Tasty
That's
House.
the Legend Tasty House, yeah. And we needed the walk anyway.
Well, Simon, you chose Xiang sum it up for us.
Yeah, fast, fresh dumplings.
Dave?
It's a must-try if you go to Chinatown.
Perfect. Marcelina?
A Chinese experience in the middle of Chicago.
You can try the dumplings and more at Xiang, 2002 South Wentworth Avenue, 312-799-1118. Open for lunch and dinner every day. Reservations are accepted. Alcohol is BYOB, and the average tab per person is $24. Dave Wiegers says a lovely village north of Chicago has quietly built a pretty impressive dining scene. He says for a fun night and memorable meal in a really cool space, you gotta meet him at Milwalky Trace.
I spent a lot of time training in Chicago. I went to culinary school at Kendall. I worked at a few restaurants down there. You know, coming up in culinary school, like, everyone wants to be in a fine dining restaurant. But the more I cook, the more I dine out, the more I realize that what I like is really comforting, satisfying food that is responsibly sourced, and that I know someone really took a lot of care in. Libertyville is just a really awesome, vibrant community. It's super bustling, and I just thought it was the perfect place to bring like a neighborhood restaurant where I could cook the food I wanted and feel really comfortable. The restaurant is super lively. We really just like people to tuck in and be able to share food with one another. You know, I think the food is a representation of who I am, so getting that positive feedback is really affirming, and it feels really good.
So Dave, you say Milwalky Trace is terrific. Why'd you choose it?
Well, Libertyville, like you said earlier, is kind of become a dining destination. There's probably 10 or 15 really good places up there now. And I think right at the top of the list has to be Milwalky Trace. It's very seasonal. The chef is a young guy who likes to experiment with flavors and tastes, and it's something I think a little unusual for the suburbs in its small plates. It's not really tapas, but it is a shareable experience, which is one of the things I really like about it, because that way, every time I go in there, the menu has changed a little bit. It's more American than anything else, but he'll throw a little French, he'll throw some Spanish. Very innovative, I think, in a lot of his choices of foods.
Well, Marceline, let's hear what you had. And
So
what
I
you
went
thought.
there for brunch. I think
On
going there
Sunday.
Sunday brunch.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Because of my schedule, I really couldn't make it there for dinner. So, but brunch was awesome. I had a great Bloody Mary served in a jug, in a jar. It was really, really, really good. Took my friend Kathy. She had the French toast, and it was delicious. It was like soaked in vanilla and a lot of other things. I had the biscuit and fried chicken, which was pretty good. And we had the bacon, and the bacon was amazing. It was really, 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 really good.
Well, Saiba, you took the train out there and checked it out. What'd you think?
So I live in Logan Square, and I think it's the Milwalky North line that you take up. It was a quick, like, 45, 50-minute train ride, not bad. I think that we wanted to love it. There were a couple of dishes that there were so many elements in them that were so good, and then like one element fell flat. So like the gnocchi was a little mushy, but the tomatoes in the gnocchi and the sauce were amazing, and we were like, oh, I wish that this gnocchi was cooked better.
That's
I
a
know.
shame, because
And like the short ribs were fall off the bone, and the risotto was like, I was so excited to eat the risotto, and then it was undercooked a little bit.
Wow.
Then we had on the opposite end of the spectrum, we had the chicken, and it was amazing. It was so good. And then the Yukon Gold mashed
tomato
potatoes.
puree,
yeah, the puree, exactly. It was so good, very buttery.
if you want to start with the salad, he had an apple and endive with blue cheese and walnuts with a vinaigrette that was really good. I don't usually use my bread to soak up the vinaigrette in my salad, and I did with that one. We had a couple other things. We did the half a chicken, and I don't know about you guys, but chicken to me has gotten to the point where it just tastes like chicken. It has no flavor, but that chicken has flavor.
Yeah, it was super good.
It's I don't know if it's free range or what, but it's a locally sourced product, I think. I had the mussels. I love mussels, but if you're used to mussels in France or Belgium, this is different. It used coconut milk and cilantro, and then my son-in-law had braised pork shoulder with a chorizo. Oh my goodness, that was good.
Their desserts are super good too. The almond cake with the buttermilk sorbet, that was really delicious.
They always have a seasonal tart. I've had the rhubarb strawberry tart.
So Lee Kubler is a chef there. He actually trained under, we kind of joke that a bunch of Michaels. So Michael Lakowitz, who owns Restaurant Michael, and then also Michael Kornick. So he's a Kendall grad, which is actually where I went to culinary school. And so I think that's why you kind of get somewhat of a downtown feel for the restaurant, because it's really kind of picked up a little bit of the places that he had worked in the city.
So how do they serve the dishes at night? Do they serve them in the skillets, iron skillets and everything?
Yes, they
Because
do.
that's, which I thought was great.
When did you go? What day?
We went on a Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Yeah, it was about 6:30. We had a reservation. We got seated right away, and then by like 7:15 it was packed. And then we peeked into the taco place, Milwalky Taco, next door, and that place was packed too.
It's
We
a
didn't
hot
eat
spot
anything.
right now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would, if I was in the area, I would go back again for sure. I would probably sit at the bar and maybe just get one or two dishes just to try something new that I haven't tried before, just because the menu is changing so rapidly, and you know he's always doing something new. So I would go back. I think that the downtown Libertyville like little strip is really cool. It was a Saturday night and it was bustling downtown, so I was like, Libertyville is like the new up and coming like suburb.
Yeah,
It's like
and
where to
it
be.
wasn't like that a few
Right.
years ago. I mean, that's
No.
kind of a new attention brought to the main street of
They've had a very
Libertyville.
active, what they call Main Street Project. It's
Right.
a national program.
Exactly.
And Libertyville is probably one of the huge successes around the country of what they've done with downtown Libertyville.
Although I would say drive next time and go see the Cuneo Mansion, which is not too far away, where they filmed My Best Friend's
Yeah.
wedding.
One
So
of my favorite
it's a great
movies.
thing.
That's right. Yeah, they
exactly.
did.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, you chose Milwaukee Trace. Sum it up for us.
Urban place in the suburbs, I guess you would say.
And Marcelino?
Great food, farm to table, awesome Bloody Mary.
And Saiba?
Good service, cool seasonal menu, and quick trip on the metro from the city.
Milwalky Trace, 603 North Milwalky Avenue in Libertyville. 847-530-7172. Open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday and brunch on Sunday. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $35. Marcelino Garcia loves the different flavors found all over Latin America. But when he's craving some Cuban cuisine, he says there's just one spot to go. He says follow him to Fullerton and sample some Sammys at Señor Pan.
It's fun, it's happy. We have good ambience here. Our food is very authentic. We want people to feel our flavor. Roasted pork, lechon asado is very popular, but our Cuban sandwiches are signature. That's where our name is Señor Pan, it's Mr. Bread. And yes, the Cuban sandwich, I will say, it's the closest thing to a Cuban culture. It's a mix of flavor and culture. We have customers from everywhere. We have all kind of customers. You can come here and see a construction worker next to a lawyer at a lunchtime. All Cubans have a very different and complicated history. I left Cuba. I left my home when I was 17 years old. I came to the United States. I consider this the greatest country on earth. This country gave me what mine couldn't. So, and it's my way of bring my culture and give back to this great country and great city of Chicago.
So Marcelino, you say Señor Pan is sensational. Why'd you choose it?
Señor Pan is awesome. I do a lot of work in the northwest side of the city, so every time I go down Fullerton, I stop there to get a café con leche and keep going, or maybe go get a soup on the winter time called ajiaco, which is similar to a Puerto Rican sancocho soup, and I bring it downtown to my parents. I've taken a lot of friends over there to have the bistec encebollado, even the sandwiches, the criollo or the cubano. It's a great homey place. The congrí and the arroz con habichuelas, frijoles negros is good. And the appetizer platter is amazing. You get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's fried though, but it's typical. It's great food.
So you mentioned the congrí. That's the white rice mixed with the black beans, right?
Beans, yes.
So we asked the waitress which entree she really loved, and she said the ropa vieja with chicken.
That's my favorite.
It was
It's
so
amazing.
amazing. It was the best Cuban ropa vieja with chicken that I've ever had. That rice with it was perfect, and she recommended the yuca with mojo.
Al mojo, amazing.
And it's like boiled yuca with boiled onions.
And a little bit of vinegar.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's white
Little
on the
bit,
plate, and you're kind of like, oh, what is this? Like, did I make the right choice? Should I have gotten fried plantains? But when I had it, it was so flavorful and like garlicky, and it just all went together so perfectly. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Dave?
We had a good time.
Oh, good.
You've never had Cuban food before,
No,
right?
I'd had a Cuban sandwich a couple times,
Okay.
but not in a Cuban place. But we walked in, and you could just tell it was going to be a fun place. The knickknacks on the wall, and there were a lot of families. We also hit the bongo on the way in and out. So we had the Cubano sandwich. I had the pulled pork with onion.
Okay.
And then my wife had what she called Cuban fajitas, which was more of a stew, and it was wonderful. And then we did the appetizer. They should have put more empanadas on there. I know that. They were really good.
They try to put a little bit of everything.
Taste of everything.
Yeah.
They're not too expensive, so you can always
Right,
The
right.
surprise
Yeah.
were was it the cassava fries?
Oh, they're awesome.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea. We tried a little bit of this and a little bit of that. My brother-in-law went this time with us, and he had the shredded beef. He took it home with him. He couldn't finish the whole sandwich. The sandwich. He got the deluxe sandwich, and it was huge.
Right. The
So
sandwiches, the deluxe sandwich is about
they're big.
like yay big.
The other thing I wanted to mention was the chimichurri.
Was it good?
Oh, it was amazing. They served the chimichurri with the tostones.
Okay.
And I just put it on everything. I was like, I just need this on everything. It's good.
So it sounds like everybody really enjoyed the food. What do you think of the atmosphere?
It was very family friendly and family oriented. I would say it's pretty casual in terms of seating. We went on a Thursday evening and it wasn't packed, but it was getting crowded. But it was all families. The bongos, it's a cute touch. Every dad that went out the door drummed on the bongos. But and I like the little Cuban hats on what I would call kind of like a makeshift palapa. Give you a little taste of Cuba.
And all the girls working there
They
all
were-
wearing
Love the
their
hats.
hats.
They couldn't have been nicer. They could tell
care.
we were newbies.
Yeah.
So Marcelino, who would you bring there?
Oh, you can bring friends, family, even a date. It's like, you know what, if you want to impress him or her and try to get them to try something different, it's like I would even do that.
But it's approachable, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's not fancy. It's nice, normal, great people, great servers.
You know, I think
Friendly.
things with Cuban food, a lot of it was colonized by the Spanish. So there's a lot of influences from Spanish cuisine and a little bit of French from the Haitians that came over that were colonized with the French, a little bit of the Caribbean. So it's not really, if you haven't had it before, you're probably familiar with it. You just might not know the names of what you're eating in Cuban food. So let's talk about the drinks because you guys ordered 3 different drinks when you were there.
we
So what do
did.
you guys think?
My wife loved the margarita,
Okay.
but my
Which is
son,
not technically
Yeah.
Cuban.
Right, at all, right.
but she's a bit of a connoisseur.
Yeah.
My son got a pina colada. He thought it was a little weak, a little watered, and I know his girlfriend got a sangria, and she thought that was a little watered too.
Okay.
See, usually this type of food is better with beer. So
Yeah.
it helps you make it go down easier. Or maybe a mojito.
So Marcelino, you chose Señor Pan. Sum it up for us.
I think it's great criollo food in the middle of Chicago, fried sandwiches, and my café con leche. You can't go wrong without something to pump you up.
Great. And Dave?
Adventurous food. I love the taste, and would go back. You bet.
Saiba?
Some of the best Cuban food I've had in the city, and amazing chimichurri, affordable prices, would definitely go back.
You can try the Cubano and more at Señor Pan, 4612 West Fullerton Avenue, 773-227-1020. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Reservations are not accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $20. So on this week's show, we featured Xiang in Chinatown, Milwalky Trace in Libertyville, and Señor Pan in Belmont Cragen. Let's recap what our guests had to say. First, we strolled down Wentworth and chowed down at Yang. Saiba recommends it for the fresh dumplings with flavorful fillings. Dave loved the delicious food and thought the servers were very helpful. Marcelino thought it was affordable, liked the unique menu, and said it was a good place for family. Then we made our way up Milwalky Avenue and had a meal at Milwalky Trace. Dave recommends it for its intimacy, seasonality, and fresh small plates. Marcelino enjoyed their brunch menu and had great service. Saiba respected the farm-to-table aspect, but thought some dishes could use a little more love. Lastly, we fled down Fullerton and stopped in at Señor Pan. Marcelino recommends this homey place for the great Cuban cuisine and coffee. Saiba thought it was family-friendly with the best ropa vieja she's ever had. Dave admired the lively atmosphere and was blown away by the huge Cuban sandwiches. We've had a wonderful time this week. I want to thank my guests, Dave Wiegers, Marcelino Garcia, and Saiba Arin. Join us next week for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please. I'm Catherine Diorio, and I'll see you then.
Cheers. Salute.
For more information about the restaurants featured on Check Please, go to WTTW.com/checkplease.